You're part of the problem because you don't listen when I speak. When people of color speak about their realities around white people, it makes white people's lives harder.
But that doesn't mean you've got to put white people down, man.
And I don't.
Yes, you do.
That is your white guilt.
White guilt? Who's hating on who? You're hating on me.
It's not about you.
I'm sorry, but why am I offended?
White America has to ask themselves that question. But don't get mad at me for speaking about the truth of the system.
You're talking, like, history, bro.
I've been in handcuffs. I've been in the back of police cars because of my skin color. Right now, you have more privilege than I do. That is factual information.
Dude, I've never had to deal with that in my life. Not one time in my life.
And I've had to deal with it every day of my life. And that's the difference.
White America has been raised to believe, A, the police are always the good guys, and frankly, that black lives matter less than white comfort. And until we deal with that, until we deal with the reality, because here's the problem. When one person calls the police on a person of color over a barbecue in a park, sleeping in a common room at Yale, sitting at the Starbucks or whatever it is, knowing that Tamir Rice's life was snuffed because someone called the cops on a 12-year-old boy playing with a toy gun. Something that white boys do all across this country without fear of being shot. And that's a national story. You can't tell me you didn't know that happened. When John Crawford is called, the cops called on him at the Walmart, also in the state of Ohio, not to pick on Ohio, and he's standing there with an air rifle that he pulled off the shelf at Walmart. He's talking to his girlfriend or whatever, and the cops are called on him. They come, they shoot him. When you...
Interesting, madam. Let me then advance this point. I speak of the old racism, which was pre-Dr. Martin Luther King. I then speak of the new racism. One of the things you have to understand about racists or about yourself is racists are inherently intellectual cowards. They won't come out and say, I hate niggers because I hate niggers. Story over. What they will do is take pseudo-facts. They will take facts that are not true and use that as the intellectual pyramid to come to a conclusion that is inaccurate. If you actually want to talk about the statistics, if you are afraid of me on that bus, I don't ride on buses, because you think I'm going to murder you, there is no statistical basis for that. You are more likely to be murdered by your husband, by your son, by your brother. If you are afraid of me sitting next to you on that bus that I don't ride on, because you are afraid that I'm going to rape you, statistically, your boyfriend, your husband, is more probably going to be the rapist. So I'm saying you are the manifestation of the new racism, and you have...
On your marks, get set, white guys, go!
I have high hopes for this. I had a Cliff Bar before we started.
Everybody else!
Phew, I thought they were coming after us.
Is there any answer why I can't go to my car now?
Because I'm telling you. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
It's cold out here, sir.
I know it is. You want to sit with me?
I don't want to sit with you. But what's the reason why I can't sit in my car?
you say you had with you?
2/8.
2/8. You know how much you're legally allowed to carry with that card?
2.5 ounces. Let me grab my cards. Alright, so let's put this Jay-Z shit to rest. Chokehold. Policing black men. For some reason, it's illegal in the jails here in Arizona. Can't even get it. But let's read just the introduction. Chokehold does for policing what the new Jim Crow did for mass incarceration. The fact is, cops, politicians, ordinary people are afraid of black men. The result is the chokehold, laws and practices that treat every black man like a thug. In this explosive new book, an African-American former prosecutor shows that the system is working exactly the way it's supposed to. Black men are always under watch, and police violence is widespread, and it's perfectly legal. In his no-holds-barred style, Butler, whose scholarship has been featured on 60 Minutes and published widely, uses new data to demonstrate that white men commit the majority of violent crimes in the United States. For example, a white woman is 10 times more likely to be raped by a white male acquaintance than to be the victim of a violent crime perpetrated by a black man. Butler also frankly discusses the problem of black male violence and how to keep communities safer without relying as much on police. Chokehold includes an honest guide for black men about how to stay out of the criminal justice system and how to deal with police, prosecutors, and defense attorneys if they do catch a case, and powerfully demonstrates why current efforts to reform the police will not create lasting change. Butler's controversial recommendations about prison abolition, how to crash the system in the age of Trump, and when it's better for a black man to plead guilty, even if he's innocent, are sure to be game changers in the national debate about policing, criminal justice, and race. Illegal. This book is illegal in the jails of Arizona. Why? And our rage comes from not having fathers in the home? You think that just affects the children? You don't think that affects the other person that loved that man? That expected that man to be there and do something for that child? To help raise that child? And she has to look on TV and be peer pressured by females and other friends to be independent, to not need a man? What are we talking about? And you got people really fighting for this, for the NFL, for college football.
That's all we want in this world as women.
This dude sat here and made a whole album about social injustices. And now you at the table with him? I don't really need to say much more. If you think it comes from not having fathers in the home, how do you think that happened? What happened with the Food Stamp Act? What happened with the Black Panthers? With the free breakfast? And they were demonized for standing up for their community. And you saying that's why lives are lost?
You scared people, Huey. The Black Panthers scared people.
Anytime the black man attempts to change the slave image, he will scare white people. So the Black Panther Party, I thank you. When you said that we scared people, that means that we were creating a positive black image for ourselves. Carlton, you were... Everything...
You scared people, Huey. The Black Panthers scared people.
Anytime the black man attempts to change the slave image, he will scare white people. So the Black Panther Party, I thank you. When you said that we scared people, that means that we were creating a positive black image for ourselves.
You talk frightening quite a lot of people. Are you going to not necessarily be meek and humble and all that, but are you going to minimize your way of approach? Because not everybody's a revolutionary. What can you do about that?
There's nothing I can do about that, because it's my firm belief that somebody has to be that. Everybody can't be mealy-mouthed. Everybody can't be compromising. Everybody can't tiptoe through the tulips. Somebody has to be strong. I wouldn't have to be as strong as I am if I saw some others being strong like that. I could tone down, but I'm feeling such desperation to get the message out. If they stay away from me, they stay away. If the black nationalists, if the Pan-Africanists, if these other radical organizations, for certain reasons, pull back from me and I look up and they ain't with me no more, I don't give a damn. I love them still, and I keep on pushing because somebody has to hold the line. And you won't even talk to be free. You want to dress it up. He's too rough.
I want to go back a moment to the breaking process. I guess that's what the slave master called it, the breaking process. You're saying that they would take a pregnant black woman as a psychological effect, tie her to a tree, cut her open and take the fetus from her and stomp it so that other slaves would see this and that fear would be penetrated in their being.
The African warrior was a very strong person, and the atrocities that it took to break him, then I had no idea until I researched the slave experience, what happened. And I think that this is something that America has ignored, and it's something that we all ought to look at, because we'll understand how certain things and how we think today has come about. When you are trying to project a diagnosis, a solution, you need to look properly at the source.
Nothing ever gets changed. Nothing ever gets fixed. Nothing ever gets solved. It's just a loop to where all the resources are allocated to the same places and they're controlled by the same people. So, just starting from the beginning, if you look at the way they treated that mother to be and her unborn child, if you were witnessing that, if you knew that there was physically nothing that you can do, at what point would you stop looking, stop making eye contact, stop saying what you needed to say, and resort to tactics that were more covert? Hiding, conspiring behind this person's back, or conspiring when they went home, or when you thought you were alone, or with other people that you trusted, other people who were scared, and they betray your trust in hopes to look better to this more powerful person. That's just a general mind game of it. The key word there was break. What it took to break. So what do we equate with being broken? Broken home. If you don't have money, you're broke. Your family is split apart, your family is broken up. So there's a history of the game of breaking down people subtly now, to where they turn it into an everyday game. Little by little, they harass you. Little by little, they affect your money. Little by little, they break you down. So like I said, at what point was the father taken out of the home? At what point were mothers given incentives that were based on the father not being in the home? We already discussed the Penitentiary Act, the Prison Acts. When slaves became free, they changed the goalposts. They changed the standard operating procedures. Do you have identification? Do you have a job? Do you have a home? If you didn't have these things, where were you put? In jail or in the grave? And the concept of generational trauma is just clearly overlooked. And that's because all of this is by design. All of this is a system that's working properly. Those who are supposed to be affected are being affected, and when those who aren't supposed to be affected are affected, there's no consequences for their actions. They're seen as unstable and mentally ill, as opposed to you, the original, who knows what they're doing. But it's just a system that capitalizes off of you going to capitalizes off you relying on people who don't like you for some type of remedy. But what are they gonna do? They're gonna furthermore push you down and build themselves up. If they can't benefit from you immediately, then they'll send you off. And it's the system perpetuates it. It's like it's a clear indicator of this system that shows how people feel or what it was designed for. Because if you're doing good, if you work hard, that just places a label on you that means people can take from you. What does fighting for this country mean for you as a black person? Just means you fought for the right for people to still do what they do. For people to still carry on the same traditions that they've been carrying on. Outside of the uniform, they don't have to respect you. They don't have to appreciate you. They don't have to say thank you. They don't have to make sure that you're all right. And they don't. But there are still former military that get benefits. There are, prior service that get benefits. Shouldn't the people who fought for this country, the people who built this country, get those same type of benefits? Doesn't matter where you go. But you'll be dishing out a whole lot more benefits than you could pay for if that was the case. Instead of taxes being paid to you, the taxes would be paid to other people. That wouldn't garner some benefit between you and them. Not necessarily. They take their money and build off of that instead of relying on you. Relying on other establishments to feed them, to house them, to give them health care, to employ them, pay them every other week. And even with those things, even with the good job, you looked at suspiciously. Stalked, tracked, recorded. Even at excelling in the system that they set up. So what was the system set up to do? Wasn't set up for you to prosper, and if that was the case, you want me to work hard and not have anything, right? Sounds like a slave to me. Most of us are born into this system, and we just see what we see. So you had the women who were around and witnessed everything. But they can't, and they don't want to be honest with you about what's really going on in here, because they want you to just focus on what's going to benefit them. So when it comes down to the NFL, the NBA, sports, yeah, take advantage of that athleticism. Go to college, get you an education, but go to the NFL and make mommy a lot of money. Regardless of all the soul depriving, the soul snatching, the soul killing that goes into these industries, and the suppression and oppression of a person's spirit, of a person's well-being. Oh, well, you don't have to do those things. Yeah, you don't. But why can't it just be a situation or an industry that benefits the people that it wants to benefit them? What's so wrong about that? And then you want to get mad at people for speaking out on it. soon as you turn 18, credit card companies all over you. You can get an education loan that'll put you in debt. What about a business loan? What about housing, free housing, subsidized housing? The women can get it, but as a man, you just out here. Gotta do what you gotta do. And we don't think that generational trauma affects a person. What you see, what you deal with. It's not just in black people. When white people see a black person, they feel it too. They want to spit, scrunch their face up, clear their throat, sniffle. But we're forced here to coexist, cohabitate. There's nothing cooperative about it. It's just pushing down what you feel so far to the point either it makes you shake or it makes you uncomfortable, but you deal with it to achieve the daily common goals until you could just get back to where you want to be, get back to hiding again, and you could let out, your true feelings. If they haven't changed, so what in that interaction? But nobody cares about a black man being good. You're more of a threat being good than you are bad. You're just doing what they want you to do at that point. They get the leech off you and parasite off you as you do that. It's sad. But if you haven't really seen it, things are this way because they're supposed to be this way. And they're supposed to be this way because if there wasn't somebody that was to be needed, if there wasn't somebody that was controlling the process, then maybe things wouldn't be so bad. The same things are happening. The same things are being perpetuated. The same cycles are revolving. And they're only getting worse. You're not having a male and a female in the house anymore. Now you're going to have two women. And these single mothers are raising these men with this trauma. And then not giving them any resourceful skills to go into the world with, just with their anger, their aggression, given to them by a single mother who's frustrated and told that she can act that way by not having the consequences placed on her. She can kill, she can abort a baby. She can put her hands on other men. But as a man, you're not able to resolve your issues physically, even though your work is done physically. You're praised for being physical. But you have to have some type of restraint, some self-control, some balance, while other people can just behave in any other type of way as if we all aren't connected. A lot of these things shouldn't have to be expressed, but I don't think our people see the play. I don't think our people understand that things are like this for a reason, and it benefits those who have control of the system. And we keep buying into it, we keep playing into it, and they keep benefiting from it and telling us that, hey, if you keep buying into it, we're gonna keep selling it. That's why you need to be careful, man. Be careful who you date. Be careful who you surround yourself with. Anybody that call the cops on you once, that's it. That's it. That's not something you play with. Energy isn't something you play with, but people think that they can just act a way, be a certain way, and that it doesn't reveal their energy. It doesn't reveal their intentions. Choco, the book, proves that many, if not everyone, comes for your throat, comes for your neck in some form or fashion. They seek to silence you, shut you up, hurt you, so that you don't speak on the things that are important to you, the things that are happening to you. Inconvenience you, mess up your money, mess up your energy, have you wasting energy on stupid stuff. Even this social media is a waste of energy. All we're doing is creating traffic for YouTube, talking about things that they know are happening, talking about the things that the behaviors that they know they are perpetuating. But maybe somebody years younger than me will catch it before they get this way, before they get to this age, and see the cycle. See the cycle where you go through 20, 25, 30 years of seeing how things are running in society, to where you stop going to the club. You stop paying all that money for those bottles when you go to the liquor store and see that same bottle for $25, $30. And you see the upsell of it. 100%. $3. $30 turning into $300. $35 turning to $500. You stop paying that cover price. You put that into your rent, your house, your mortgage, even though a mortgage, similar to a dead pledge, mortuary, mortician, morgue, mortgage. You save that gas. You save the possibility of getting a DUI and getting into accidents, along with not meeting the promiscuous women and the spending the money on the dates and all of that. So that'll cut back on a lot of things. But then even more, you start to delve in, and everything that you do is an investment into somebody else, and you see what the banks are doing. Even when these companies, they give you, or you go to a company even if you order something, like order something online through Grubhub, and they bring you the wrong order, they reimburse you. You still gotta wait on that money. You still have to wait to be reimbursed, and that's what's happening. They're taking this money and investing it than when they could give it back to you. That's why it takes so long for you to get your money back, as opposed to you paying right now and getting your money back right now. Everything is an investment. Every little bit of attention you give is a resource or a power source to somebody. But because in this society, it's narcissists, and narcissists will use anything you do against you. They know you're paying attention. They know you're focused. So they'll say something, some little slight thing to get you off your track. To make you focus on them, give them some attention, give them some energy. That's generational. And that's just what's going on right now, the way society has been built. They want to try to have everybody connected, everybody needing each other, while others are being exploited. It's all connected. There's nothing new under the sun. All they can do is try to flip things over, flip things back the way they were. Change the goalposts once you figure it out. There's not much more to it. It's just either people are gonna stop doing what they're doing, or they're gonna keep it up. And then talking about the truth, pointing the truth out, pointing out what people are doing has never stopped them from doing it. It just changed the way they do it. They changed the way they go about it. You have to stop it. You have to stand up and grow some fortitude to say, hey, this is right, I'm gonna do this, or this is wrong and I'm gonna do this, period. Pointing it out, talking about it has never stopped it. As a matter of fact, in this narcissistic society, people see that as attention. People see that as you giving them energy. So they're just gonna keep doing what they do. And enjoy the energy, enjoy being talked about. Even serial killers go to that extreme. They just want to be talked about. They just want to be known. They want to be infamous. And now it's down to secular levels. Down to everyday little people doing dumb shit just to get talked about and laugh it off. But let you get serious about it. They want to run off. So that's just how I feel about it, and that's just the facts about it as well. None of this stuff is for our benefit. No NFL players are coming to your job, rooting you on, giving you money, paying your salary, or there to help you out when you in a bind, unless you go and make that known. Every advertisement they do is for somebody else's pockets. College players are still playing for free, playing for tuition. But those are things, and these are things that we acquiesce to based on the system. So we gotta look at it differently. Look at what you would acquiesce to. Look at what you say yes to. Look at what you want. Because the gatekeepers know what you want, but you don't know what they want. You don't know what they're using you for, other than that championship ring. And of course, you both want that, right? why you want that championship ring. You don't even know. You just want to be the best. And that's cool for me, man. I'm good. Like, I done said enough. That's just part one, but I hope y'all enjoy y'all football Sunday. Peace.
Didn't you just kill me? You don't fear death. You welcome it. Your punishment must be more severe. Torture. Yes. But not of your body. Of your soul. Where am I? Home. Word of the truth about despair. As with you. There's a reason why this prison is the worst hell on earth. Hope. Every man who was rotted here over the centuries has looked up to the light and imagined climbing to freedom. So easy. So simple. Unlike shipwrecked men turning to seawater from uncontrollable thirst. Many have died trying, and learned here that there can be no true despair without hope. So, as I terrorize Gotham, I will feed its people hope to poison their souls. I will let them believe that they can't survive so that you can watch them clambering over each other to stay in the sun. You could watch me torture an entire city. And then when you truly understood the depth of your failure, we will fulfill Razagul's destiny. We will destroy Gotham. And then, when it is done, and Gotham is ashes, then you have my permission to die.